Hello fiber friends and welcome to the Jillian Eve channel. I'm Evie and today we are going to spin a singles yarn. This tutorial will work well for any kind of combed top preparation. The fiber that I will be spinning for this yarn is this scrumptious soft floof from Paradise Fibers. This is called the Pumpkin Spice Blend. It is a blend of 65% merino, 25% baby camel, and 10% viscose tweed. There's little speckles in there. The other tool, besides a spinning wheel and fiber, that I will be using in this video is a spinner's control card. I have two here that are going to work for me, and I'll show you how to use each one. This one is called the SZ Twist Tool. It is from Kamaj Fiber Arts, and it has all kinds of little guides and things that are great information on here. And this is just a protractor that you can get from the dollar store. I'll show you how to use this as well. So let's see how this take-up is. Now, if I relax my hand and let it feed onto the wheel, it goes right onto the bobbin. But, did you see that? I can pull it right back out. And when I pull it back out, it's not pulling on the flyer, it's not tipping the wheel towards me, none of that. It just pulls it gently right off the bobbin. That means I have a pretty good window of take-up right here. So depending on what you're going to do with your final yarn, a kind of general rule is that if you are going to knit with your finished yarn, you might want to consider spinning it S-twist, which is counterclockwise. If you are going to crochet with your finished yarn, consider spinning it Z-twist, which is counterclockwise. And if you're going to weave with your yarn, generally speaking, you can go either direction. Okay, we're ready to draft this fiber. I have a point right here at the tip of the comb top where the twist is entering into my fiber supply. I'm going to keep my fiber supply hand, that's this hand, I'm going to hold it further back, and I want it to be past the point where the actual lock is. The staple length is important to know in these situations. I don't want to hold the fiber supply up here. If I do that, I'm holding it so close that I have one end of that staple in there, one end of that piece of yarn in the twist. The other end is pinched off by my hand, and so there's no way that it can draft apart. It's being held tightly on both ends. I need to keep this hand further back so that these fibers are loose and are able to slip past each other. That's what will allow me to draft this fiber. As you can see, there are two pinching points on this fiber. There's the pinching point where the twist is coming in, and there's the pinching point where my hand is holding it. What we'll do to draft with this style is work with the twisted end of this fiber. I'm going to let that twist come up right here. I'm going to give it a little roll. Did you see that? I'm just unrolling it. And I'm unrolling. I don't want to add the twist. That makes it tighter. I want to unroll just a little bit so those fibers can slip past each other. Now I'm able to draft this fiber. It becomes slippery. So let's get that wheel started again. Here we go. And now if I just pull on it all on its own, it actually starts to pull it off the wheel, right? But if I untwist just a little, I'm able to pull out more fiber from the fiber supply. And that allows me to draft. Let me give you another angle on that so you can see exactly what's going on. And as I'm drafting it forward, it gets pulled right onto the wheel. You'll start to notice that controlling the consistency in this yarn actually has a lot to do with how much twist I leave in this portion as I draft it out. If I leave more twist in this portion and I start to draft, let me get a thicker one here for you. Okay, you can see that actually is the way that I would create a slub in this yarn. It creates a thicker section. If I take out more of the twist, I'm able to draft it much, much thinner. So that's a great tip for controlling your consistency. And the best way to figure it out is to play around. Some fiber is going to draft smoother and easier than other fiber. And so how much twist to pull against as you're drafting, or how little twist to pull against as you're drafting, kind of depends on you, the spinner, and also the fiber you're working with. Right now, I'm spinning 12 wraps per inch, which is about a DK weight. But as we know, when we work with wool, we get it wet at the end when it's not under tension and it has all that twist energy in it. It can fluff up a little bit. So I'm looking for worsted. Right now I'm kind of riding the line between a very light worsted and a DK weight. But as long as I don't gain any wraps per inch, moving to the 13, 14 range, I should end up with a nice worsted weight single when I finish this spin. It really helps that this fiber has all these strands of colors in it because it makes it easier to see how the twist angle looks. All we're going to do is take our spun strand of yarn and lay it over these angle lines until the camera focuses. Oh, look at that. The 30-degree line is lining up almost exact. Here's my 0. So 0 degrees is straight up and down. And now I can just line up my yarn straight up and down across the different angle lines to determine what twist angle my yarn has. All right, I'm gonna get this spun up and show you how to finish your singles yarn. If you're enjoying this video, if you're learning something new, let me know by leaving a comment down below or giving me a thumbs up. I finished spinning, my bobbin is pretty full. I get this question a lot. What do I do with the end so that it doesn't just floop around, right, and unravel? Oh no. So what we're going to do is, a lot of wheels have some kind of way to sort of not really tie off. There we go. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed. Not really tie off, but to hold your yarn in place so that it won't unravel yet, or I guess at all. Some people use those clips that you can get at an office supply store, like a binder clip, or you can use even a hair clip would also work if you don't have a post or something to place your yarn around. And now we're ready to get the yarn off the bobbin so that we can do the finishing process. You can do this with a nitty knotty. I have a yarn swift and that's what I'll be using. It's faster for me to do it that way, but a nitty knotty gets the job done just the same. I will tie the end of my yarn onto the skein winder, and that is going to prevent it from unraveling and untwisting, but it's also going to give me an end to find when I am finished skeining everything off. So at that time as well, I can also keep track of it so it doesn't unwind. Now that my spin is finished, I can detach the end of the yarn from the leader, again hanging on to it to make sure it doesn't unravel, and then I'll use it to tie off the yarn on the nitty knotty or on the swift. If it doesn't feel quite secure enough, I can use other yarn to make sure that it stays secure. We don't want this skein to unravel, but using the ends is a great way to tie off your yarn. This is going to be a great hat. That's the project I have planned for this. But it's full of curly cues. Do you see all these little curly cues in there? And that's okay. We're going to help this yarn to relax with its twist. And we will do that by soaking it in warm water. I'm going to let it sit in the water for about 20 minutes. It takes a minute for the wool to become fully saturated with water. After the yarn has spent some time luxuriating in its warm water, its warm bath, I use a salad spinner to take out the excess water. And then I grab that skein and I thwack it. When everything is finished, it's time to hang up the yarn. Well, fiber friends, it was so much fun having you along for this spinning journey. I hope that you've learned some helpful tips for spinning your own singles yarn. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy spinning!